Hey there drone fans, Rick here again from Drone Valley. Today I'd like to review the Slingshot Edge 250 AW, which is a backpack made by a company called LowePro. Now in the spirit of full disclosure, they did send me this for review after I badgered them repeatedly, because you guys badgered me repeatedly to get one of these in my hands and review it. I promise you that won't impact my opinion of it. You guys know I'm always terribly honest about the products that I review. Having said that, if you're familiar with the company LowePro, it's probably because you're aware of them from their backpacks they made for specialty equipment in the photography space. So they've been a world leader in that space for quite some time, building some of the best cases in the world and backpacks in the world for cameras and lenses and tripods. What's interesting about this backpack is with the explosion of quads over the last 4 or 5 years, a lot of people are looking for a carrying solution that's less specific. And what I mean by that is if you look at a lot of the cases that are built for quads, whether it be a Mavic or a Phantom or Unique or Autel, whoever it happens to be, they're built specifically for that quad. So they put a piece of foam in the bottom that's laser cut to handle the quad, the controller, and all the accessories that go along with it. And that seems great. If you're a very organized person, you're going to love that because you'll know immediately that you're leaving a location and there's a battery missing. But it's not real versatile. So you can't really add cameras to that, or even tablets in a lot of cases, or tripods. You've got to carry a second package with you. So what a case like this does for you is gives you the versatility to carry your gear, your quad stuff, and still have enough room in there for all the other stuff you're going to want to carry with you. And I like that an awful lot. This thing is ultimately reconfigurable. I've had it for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and I've put it through its paces. I had it at the NAB conference with me. I dragged it all over the floor out there. I've had it on airplanes 7 or 8 times in the last couple of weeks. I've been out in the woods with it. So this thing's gotten a beating, and honestly, the more I use it, the more I like it. I find it to be almost like a superhero utility belt where any given day I can start with an empty bag and fill it up with all the stuff I'm going to take out. I carry way too much stuff with me, and I always find room for it in the bag. All right, so to start off, let me just look at the exterior. You've got a bottle holder on this side, pretty nice. You know, you got a little bottle holder with you when you take it out. The one thing I like about the pack out of the gate is the fact that it's incredibly well balanced. Now I have some gear in here now, but look how stable that is. And that drives me nuts about a lot of backpacks because they tend to be front heavy or back heavy. And when you stand them up, especially a long case like this, they tip over. And that isn't something I want to deal with. If I'm outside, I don't want to fall in the dirt, or if I'm inside, I don't want to be tripping over it under a table. So I love that it's balanced. If you look close too, you'll see that it tapers from a very thin position up here to a thicker position down the bottom where most of the weight's going to be. And that's for even weight distribution on your shoulders because it's a sling pack. It's not a dual strap pack like most backpacks are, but because this weight distribution is low and falls sort of to the back, a lower part of your back, you can carry this thing and not feel like you're carrying a ton of weight, which is really nice. Strap is well padded, and it's also got a cross strap here for across the front. So the way this is typically worn, it's like a messenger bag across your front. You bring that strap around and snap it closed in front of you. Now, if you don't want to use that strap, they've thought of everything. So this side strap over here, if you decide not to use it, you don't want to have it just dangling. There's a little slot right here where you can take that strap and stuff it in there. So it really is built from a kind of a clever perspective where I think my impression is they've got a team of people working on this that just go home every night and go, all right, we got the basic bag built. What else can we add to it to make it really cool? So the little things like that really impress me. In addition to that, they've got a little holder here. So if you want to take it home and put it on a coat hook, you can do that. The big selling point of this bag, I think different than any other bag out there, is that a lot of these backpacks, if you use them, are one big cavity inside. And that's not good for a quad because whatever you put in first is going to get crushed by everything else that's dropped in the bag. These guys thought about that and actually built it to be 2 separate compartments. So you've got one main compartment back here that's totally padded and it's isolated from the top, and there's padding in between. So with this particular compartment, you can load this up with your cameras, whatever you have to put into your quad, and then have a completely different compartment of stuff up here, maybe your lunch or books or tablets, whatever. Now what I've chosen to do, and this is the way I typically use it, is I'll use the bottom compartment for my quad. And inside that bottom compartment, you'll see there are reconfigurable sections that you can actually move these things around. So stuff's falling out. So you can move stuff around inside there and have, like, for example, I've got 2 batteries over here. I've got a 3rd battery back there. I've got all my accessories in the bottom, a couple of blades, some covers for the batteries, my Mavics over here, my controllers there. You could actually sit a tablet on top of this if you wanted to, close it up and be totally protected. But everything I need to fly for the day, and really then some beyond that, is in there. And if I choose to not take the Mavic that day, all these compartments, these little partitions, pull out. And I can reconfigure this for my camera. So maybe I'll reconfigure it to have my big lens over here, my camera down the center, maybe some batteries and chargers in the side. So it's really built to be anything I need it to be on that particular day, which I like an awful lot. So I'm not locked into a particular configuration. All right, so that's the Mavic down the bottom. And again, I'm ready to fly with everything. On the top, I got another compartment up here. Now this compartment gives you Got the tablet in there. A couple of different things. So it's got a front pocket that's very deep. You saw me pull the tablet out of it. On the back, I've got another compartment that zip locks. Now I use this for loose coins or small SD cards, things that I don't want rattling around and falling out of the bag, and I can lock them in there. That's pretty nice. In addition to that, and this is a nice big compartment, again, it's padded on the bottom, so you can put a lot of stuff in there. So when I typically use this when I'm flying, the Mavic's down the bottom, all my camera gear's up top. So my camera, my lenses, my batteries go up here, and all my Mavic gear goes down the bottom. If I'm taking a tripod, I use a hiking tripod with me when I'm out for the day, I can strap it right on here, and that's away from you. Your back's against this side of it, and this is well padded, so that tripod's gonna hang off the back. If you choose not to take the tripod, these things pull off. You can take the straps off it. And then what you've got are two loops here for carabiners. So if I'm not going to take a tripod with me, I'll throw a couple of carabiners on there, and I can carry extra go packs with me of other things that I want to take along. So they really did a good job with that. One other section that I didn't realize for a little bit is this front section. There's another section right here. So here's where the cell phone goes. You can put a pen over here if you want. There's a little collector here for your keys or whatever you want to hang on there. So if you're out in the woods, you don't want to have your keys and lose those, just clip them on this. And then this pocket goes all the way down the bottom. So you can see my fingers down the bottom there. So it runs the entire front of that backpack, and I can use that for like a Joby tripod, or if I've got a monopod or I'm using a selfie stick, I can stick it down inside there and have it totally protected. So everything they've done to add as many compartments that are isolated, because that's the key with these backpacks, is to have one big large cavity doesn't really help you, because stuff's going to bang around in there and you're going to destroy something. So having different compartments where I can, a little bit like a ninja spy, I can put things all over it and know where they are, is really good because they're separated and they're protected. One last trick, which again I didn't realize till last week, is the bottom. So on the bottom, you'll notice a zipper here, and that zipper opens a small compartment on the bottom that contains a raincoat for the backpack. So basically, if you're outside and the weather starts turning ugly, you can pull this thing over and have the backpack totally weather resistant. Even though the nylon, the ballistic nylon underneath it, is weather resistant, this makes it totally weatherproof. This is on your back. You can still wear it as a strap, and your back's up against this tight, so it's not going to get wet. And if it rains or snows, all that's going to run off the back of this backpack. So again, I have a lot of respect for the design team, because it isn't just your standard backpack. It's a backpack that they did things to it that weren't intuitive, that they thought through, and really came up with some incredibly clever design features inside this backpack, which separates it from the pack. The last thing I'll mention, and again, this may have been an accident, I don't think it was, but putting this on the bottom as opposed to the side or the top means that when I close this thing up, that adds extra padding to the bottom. Now I've got my Mavic in there. Look at that. I can bounce it and know that not only the foam inside the backpack is going to protect it, but that folded up rain gear is going to protect it as well. So I love this case, and it's reasonably priced. It's less than $100, far less than $100. They make two models of it. This is the 250 AW. They make a 150 AW, which is shorter. So depending on what you're carrying with you, I like the larger one because I'm always bringing more stuff than I need with me. So it's a great pack for that. So that's all I really had for today. If you guys have questions on the pack, I've put links below where you can go to Amazon and take a look at it, or a couple other websites, just to get a feel for how big it is. If you have questions, drop them in the comments below, and I promise I'll get back to them as quickly as possible. My recommendation, if you're out looking for a case for your Mavic or any small drone, this is probably the perfect case for it if you're not going to go with one of those specialty cases. So thanks an awful lot for watching. Again, I hope you guys found value in the clip, and I appreciate you tuning in. So thanks again for watching, and as always, happy flying.